Hi everyone, this is Christine. Welcome to Scrap and Rabbit. I just finished making my very first recipe album, and I made this album using a large 3-inch 3-ring binder. I used the Home Sweet Home stack from Graphic 45, but here in Canada the paper from Graphic 45 is so expensive. I was able to extend it using another stack from Craftsmith, and it's called Tea Party. So here's a Tea Party stack. Very pretty paper, and I bought this when it was on sale. And here's a Graphic 45 stack called Home Sweet Home. And I still have some paper left and some of the postcards in there, so I can make another album, again combining it with another paper stack. So I'm thinking of doing a tutorial on this album, and I'll be using some of the rest of that paper for the tutorial. So here's the album. Like I said, it's large. It's a 3-inch binder. Now when you measure your binders, I've got these slanted D-rings in here, and when you measure the flat part of the D-ring, that's what's supposed to measure 3 inches. Now this binder was advertised as a 3-inch binder, but my slanted part actually measures 2.5 inches. There was a larger 3-inch binder with the larger slanted rings, but it was made with a big heavy plastic cover that wasn't going to work for my purposes, so I ended up taking this binder, but I think it's a 2.5 inch. But the outside ended up being about 3 3/4 inches, because when I rebuilt the binder, I made a new spine to make it a little bit wider because I wanted to put a pocket on the inside, so I'll show you that. So here's the cover. It's the main page of the Home Sweet Home stack. And on the spine, I cut out some of the paper to put on the side. On the back, I have a tag for date or journaling or putting a name on there, and I've got a trimmed border on the edge. Now this album is huge. It measures 11.25 inches wide, and it's 11.25 inches tall. But the inside pages aren't that large. The inside pages measure 8 inches across by 10 inches high. Now I'll try and keep this in frame, so I'll show you the pages one at a time. Now I will eventually be listing this album on eBay, I think after I've finished with my tutorial though, because I will be referring to this album in my tutorial. On the inside I've got a pocket, and I have these little sheets that I printed called Kitchen Helps. I've got a list of equivalents, abbreviations, emergency substitutions on there, and I designed this little logo of the doll and the little hearts. So I'm going to include those with my tutorial, so you can print as many as you want. Now on the inside of the spine, I have a little tag that says home, where the heart is. Now the reason my album is so thick is because I've got index cards everywhere where index cards should be. Now on the first page, I have this little card that opens, and you can put some photos in there as well. Now in here I've got room for 4 recipe cards, so I put 4 recipe cards. These aren't as thick as usual cards. They're more like a paper type recipe card that I picked up, so they're not too thick, so that's good, otherwise it would make the album super thick. So there's a pocket here for recipes. You can put photos there if you want. And I already showed you this one. Now each page is a section, so you can mark, for example, if you wanted this to be soups and salads or main meals or desserts or pastas or whatever. There's 6 of them. And also on this page I have a tab, and there's one of these pages in each section, and it says recipes, and you could list the recipes that you have included in this section. Okay, and there's my little doll that I designed again, and you can put some photos on the back. Now there's 1 page per section, but there's a lot of room for for recipes on here. On the back is where you would store your recipes. Here I have a waterfall, and what I did is I took a photo album, 4x6 photo album, and I ripped that apart, and I used the photo pages for storing the recipes. So I have this little border that I trimmed, and I attached each little photo sleeve, and I put in a recipe card that I printed out, again using my little logo. So you could put your recipe here and continue on the back, or put a photo on the back. And I included one of those regular recipe cards on the back also. So there's 16 recipe cards in this section. Now in the envelope, in the pocket, sorry, I'm really tired, I've worked on this album all day. In the pocket section, you could also include some more recipes in there if you wanted to, recipes that you tore from a magazine and wanted to try out. You can always store them in there or in here along with some more of the recipes. Page 2, again, it's a section, and I have a large tag where you can list the recipes on page 2, and you can slide some photos or some more recipes in here and insert that in this pocket. And this one also holds up to 16 recipes. Each one of these opens, and there's another recipe card on the back, and there's another little recipe card from the Graphics 45 collection here. And this one is the same. So there's lots and lots of room for your recipes in here, and there's also room for photos. Page 3 is also different. I have a little pocket here, and there's room for a little journaling and photos in here and on the back. And this opens, and there's more room for journaling or photos here, or recipes if you like. Now this is held closed with a magnet. When you open it, I have pockets with more recipe tags here. And again, if you clip recipes from magazines, you can always store them in there until you get them on your cards after you've tried them. Now this opens, and there's room for mega photos here, and there's another recipe tag here, so you can list all the recipes on this page. And your recipes go on the back, and it's another waterfall. So you can always pull out your recipe cards, write on them, and store them back in here. And again, it's one of my little recipe card designs on the front and those regular recipe cards on the back. Page 4 is the same as page 1. This room for photos on here, family memories, more recipe cards, the recipe tab, and you can write the category on here. Another waterfall. It's beautiful paper, and what I did is, because these fit in a binder, I punched holes on the side, and I wanted to make sure this was nice and solid, so when I put my cardstock in there, I also put an extra layer on each side, a strip, so that when you punch the holes, you're actually going through 3 layers of paper or cardstock. Page 5, the same as page 2. There's the recipe tab. Beautiful paper. This opens and there's room for recipes in here and photos on the back. You can tuck some more recipes in there. This one, again, is like page 2. It's got 2 sets of these that open up. So there's room for 8 photos on each one. And you've got 2, so there's a total of 16. Sorry, I refer to them as photos. I'm so used to working with photo albums. You've got room for 16 recipes on here. And the last page, another little tag that opens, Home Sweet Home. This opens, and it's another one of those pages that extends out like that. So you've got room for photos, or if you want to stick more recipes on there, you've got the room for recipes in here. Again, the tag. You can put photos behind here, and then on the back, of course, there's the pocket. Lots of room there. That's why the album is so thick. It's because the recipe cards are already included in there. And I think there's still room for expansion if you wanted to add your photos. And here is another waterfall, and you can always add some photos on the flaps. The back is just plain, beautiful paper, but again, you could put some photos on there, or some more recipes, or whatnot. Oops. I can tell you, I did go through a lot of my 2-sided tape when I put this album together. I get my 2-sided tape at the dollar store. It's acid-free, and it actually only cost me $1.25 for like 66 feet for the narrow tape and 49 feet for the medium width tape. So it wasn't too bad. And I also used my glue stick to make it, and a lot of cardstock. I used black cardstock to make the base pages. Anyways, I will post a video when my tutorial is ready. I have some other projects in the works right now, but I hope you liked my first recipe album. Have a nice day.